Picture this. In the High Court of the King, a woman stands accused. Her name is Lady Meed, and her influence, well, it reaches everyone, from the Pope in Rome all the way down to the baker on the corner. She's been brought here in chains, but even now you can see the most powerful men in the kingdom just scrambling to comfort her, whispering promises that everything's going to be okay.
See? This is her signature move. Lady Meed doesn't really argue or fight in the traditional sense. She just gives. Cups of pure gold, shiny silver, rings jam-packed with rubies. She showers the powerful with these incredible gifts, and in return, the world just kinda bends to her will. This is her weapon, and honestly, she wields it like a master.
So you have to be asking, who is this woman, really? Is she some kind of criminal mastermind, or is she just a necessary part of how society works? And what could she possibly have done to be put on trial for the very soul of an entire kingdom?
Okay, let's dive right into this. Our story comes from a famous 14th century poem called Piers Plowman, and it kicks off when Lady Meed is dragged before the king to answer for her crimes. But before we even get to the trial, we gotta talk about her name.
Her name, Meed, was a total double-edged sword back in the 14th century. On one hand, it meant something good, a fair reward, the wages you get for a hard day's work. But on the other hand, it meant a bribe, an unearned payment made specifically to corrupt people and twist justice. The entire trial, really, is a battle over which one of these definitions is the real her.
So the king, he sees how much power Meed has, and he comes up with what he thinks is a totally brilliant plan. He's not going to punish her. No, instead, he's going to harness her power for good. How? By marrying her off to his most honorable, most incorruptible knight, a guy named Sir Conscience. The idea is to combine Mead's incredible influence with Conscience's perfect morality. I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
The king calls Conscience forward, totally expecting him to jump at this, strategic marriage. But what happens next absolutely shocks the entire court and turns what was supposed to be a wedding proposal into a full-blown trial.
Conscience doesn't just say no. Oh no, he basically declares war. Right there in front of everyone, he thunders, "Before I wed such a wife, may disaster strike me." He calls her faithless, fickle, a danger to absolutely everyone. The battle lines are officially drawn.
Then Conscience starts laying out his case, and he goes right for the jugular, the church. He accuses Mead of poisoning popes, of letting rich people literally buy forgiveness for their sins, and of getting clueless men appointed to powerful church positions, all while letting priests openly break their vows.
But he's not done. Next, he goes after her crimes against the law itself. He says her jewels completely ruin the king's justice, letting guilty people walk free for a price while the innocent are hanged. He says the law is no longer a path for the poor and honest because Lady Meed is, and this is a great line, as common as the cartway, open to any crook with a coin to spare. But hey, every trial has two sides. After that absolutely blistering attack, it's Lady Mead's turn to speak. And her defense, it's as clever as it is convincing.
She does something brilliant. She completely reframes the entire debate. What Conscience is calling a corrupt bribe, she just calls a reward. She argues this isn't about corruption at all. It's just about compensation. It's simply, she says, how the world works.
And she lays it out so logically. Look, she says, kings give meed to their soldiers. The Pope gets gifts. Servants get meed, we call them wages, from their masters. Priests, teachers, craftsmen, everybody depends on some kind of meed to survive. Her point is powerful. No one, she declares, without meed may live.
And then she goes for the personal attack. She turns right to her accuser, Sir Conscience, and calls him a hypocrite. She claims that he himself has come to her for help, has taken her gold to give to whoever he pleased. All of a sudden, the perfect, flawless prosecutor is on the back foot.
So this just sets the stage for a huge climax. You've got Mead's really compelling defense and this sharp counterattack just hanging in the air. Now Conscience has to deliver a rebuttal that doesn't just win the argument, but basically redefines justice for the entire kingdom. And here it is, the masterstroke. Conscience doesn't deny that Mead exists. Instead, he cuts the idea in two. He says, yes, there's a good mead, an earned, divine mead. That's an honest wage for good work. But then there's the other kind, the unearned, measureless mead, a bribe paid to protect criminals and corrupt the law. He's not attacking payment, he's attacking the perversion of payment.
With Mead's whole argument completely dismantled,
Conscience doesn't just rest his case. He offers this stunning prophecy of a world that's free from her corrupting influence. In this world, he proclaims, reason shall reign and realms govern.
It's going to be a world of incredible peace, he says. He even quotes scripture, foretelling a time where people will literally beat their swords into plowshares, turning their weapons of war into tools for farming and creating.
And justice itself, it will be purified. The whole complex, corruptible system will be gone. All shall be but one court, he says, and one baron be justice. And who is this judge? A man named True Tongue. In this new world, only the truth will have the power to judge anyone.
Cornered, totally defeated, Lady Meed makes one last desperate attempt. She quotes scripture back at him, retorting that the Bible itself says, "He that gives gifts, the victory winneth." She's basically arguing that God is on the side of the person giving the gifts.
But conscience delivers the final blow. He just calmly points out that she conveniently stopped reading halfway through the verse. Had she looked that other half and the leaf turned, he explains, she would have found the devastating conclusion. The soul that the payment taketh by so much is bound. The bribe doesn't bring you victory, it enslaves the soul of the person who takes it. And with that, Lady Meed is silenced.
Wow, what an incredible trial, right? All from a 600-year-old poem? But why does this ancient story still hit so hard today? I mean, really, why does it matter?
Well, it matters because this debate is completely timeless. This struggle to draw a clear line between a fair reward and a corrupting bribe is right at the heart of our modern legal systems, our corporations, our politics. The question of how money influences justice is as urgent now as it was in the 1300s. And that final vision of a world ruled by reason and truth, that's an ideal we are all, in our own way, still chasing.
Which brings us right back to the central question of this whole trial. At what point does a gift become a bribe? When does a reward become a tool for corruption? 6 centuries have gone by since Lady Meed stood in front of that king, and that very same question, it's still on trial today.